Anisa can tell us more about what they are doing and how they're contributing.
Landessa is an organization that works on land rights across, like in China, Sub-Saharan Africa, and in India. And we work in 7 states in India, including West Bengal. And this small project started in Cooch Behar, one small block in Cooch Behar district in West Bengal. We started with about 900 girls. Today, the project has reached about 50,000 girls. And in the next 3 years, we plan to take it to about 1.4 million girls. And what we do is we work very, very closely with the government, and the idea is to impart kind of, help with them and give them kind of do this capacity building thing on land rights training and all. Poverty, if it is, it should actually affect the children kind of equally, boys and girls. But you see that the girls kind of bear that, the effect of it more than the boys. That's because the boys will bring, some form of, livelihood, some earning to the family, whereas girls don't. So they are always like a burden. The most important asset in rural areas or otherwise land. That's the place where it's probably the men, the man and the father and the son. That's the territory where the women or the daughters do not come in. We try to tell them that, okay, it's your land, but give them access. And they were able to cultivate gardens. They were able to, produce. They were able to sell their vegetables outside and get that small money. And they could say, okay, if you have little money, you can spend for the son. You can spend for my brother's education. I will pay for my own tuition fee. So do you have a choice there? You don't have a choice. And if you want to have a long-term change, if you want to see things are having a long-term generational change, transform kind of change, then it's a little long-term. One has to be a little more patient. One has to understand where it's going to take. So therefore, I don't think it's that quick. With this small project, the investment is really, really low. But we've been able to bring a lot of change. And Monica is one of the 50,000 girls we're working with in Cooch Behar district. So we're very proud of the project, and thank you so much.
Darshan Sushma is the CSR head of Hindustan Zinc. And when Anisa was talking about CSR heads really adopting initiatives in more long-term manner in a strategic nature, rather than being a tactical, thing, I think people like Sushma come into the discussion. So Sushma, really tell us what you are doing and how you see initiatives like what Megan has taken making a difference to your CSR program. Would you want to support something like this? I know that you already support girl children, that's why you're here. But what more would you do?
First of all, thank you for calling me here. And because we are, though we are a very big company in India, but because we operate from Rajasthan, what we started doing is we tried to understood the whole social network, and we understood that all this was happening mainly because the women, the rural women, they do not have any decision-making power in their families. We have a program called Sakhi, which is there on our Facebook and everywhere. And through Sakhi, we started working with all the women SHG groups. Today we have around 500 SHG groups through which we are working, more than around 10,000 women we are working with. And all these women, first we made them economically independent so that once they start contributing in their families and the families start valuing their economic contribution in the family, their decision-making process, participation in the family enhances. And then a stage comes when she is in a position to actually say, no, I will not throw away my female child. Through all these 10,000 women, through SHG program, we have made them pledge that they will not get any of their girl child married before 18 years. They will get all their girls educated properly. So they have all made a pledge. So I think in a small way, these 10,000 women, obviously if you talk about the whole nation, this 10,000 women doesn't count anywhere. But still in a small pocket, I think we have done a bit of from our side. So that is how we are doing. We are working around 200 villages in southern Rajasthan, and that is how we are doing. So all I want to say to this audience is, now that CSR is a legislation, we really, really need to be more responsible. We need to do our CSR really responsibly and make a difference in the society.
Thank you, Sushma, for making a difference to 10,000 women. That's a very big number. Last but not the least, we have Mr. Ravi Verma, who's the Asia Regional Executive Director of ICRW. We'd love you to share your suggestions on the topic. And the one area that I'm looking at you focusing in is, what are some best practices that you see are being done in one part of the country that can be brought into another part of the country, or being done in one industry in one location, which can be really evangelized for everyone to adopt.
Thank you for having me here at the outset. One of the key findings that we recently, we did a scoping study, after scoping study around the different platforms that reach out to the adolescent girls. And what strikes most is that all these platforms work in silos. So we have a large number of programs that are focused on retention of girls into schools, or making sure the girls don't drop out of the schools, or putting them back into the schools, incentivize education and things like that. So the whole range of activities around. We need to understand the comprehensive needs of adolescent girls and reach out with all these three needs, which I think is the important: the health, the reproductive health, the employability, skill aspects, and third, the educational need, which increases their esteem and aspirational aspects of it. And I think that means 4 or 5 things that I think we all have to do. One is, and CSR can play a major role, is first work with the larger system. Somehow find ways to find a hook into the government's programs, whether it is RKSK or Sabla or Jivika, or there are a whole lot of programs that are there. And they need to be invigorated, they need to be revitalized, they need to be handheld for their own capacity, the system's capacity, not only yours. So that's one piece that we need to work on. 2, I think we have a responsibility to create some kind of accountability mechanism in the system. It's not only our accountability to our own industry and our own corporate houses and to all that 2% piece, but I think we have a much bigger accountability to the society. I was so happy to hear that there are efforts made to reach out to the NGOs and CBOs and civil society to make them partner in this, and it's a true partnership. It's not the territorial attitude and territorial work is not what is going to really benefit girls. It really splits. It really, it splits their world, and you push, somebody pushes them into employment, somebody pushes them into education, and we see a complete conflict. And I've seen a lot of girls drop out because they think that the employability program is giving them better skills than remaining in schools, and that's self-defeating. In fact, it's not what we want. The third piece I think is very important is the quality aspects of this. I think nobody, industry has not partnered with all these years with the vocational education system in India.
Yeah.
And I think industries have to offer the internship. They have to give their instructors have to come and take sessions. They have to partner with the communities to make sure that these girls are given exposure to the working expectations that happen in the professional and working environment, and all that is to be done. It cannot be done in an ad hoc manner. It has to have a scheme and program around that. So my sense is that so this is, and the last I think is, and we are there where we can come is kind of validate the innovative models. I think all that is one thing which requires struggle, long term. Just dig yourself in and work with the different systems. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable and others. But also try those bouquets of innovations. In fact, I mean, a lot of this would require changing values and changing the gender bringing gender equality. And I don't agree with you, Mr. Batra, when you said women don't require that because they're already sensitive. Because I think the women are part of the same patriarchy, where they echo the similar voices, and they represent the same power hierarchy, which men do it. So I think both men and women need to be worked. And I think I also don't agree that we are hopeless about men. I think it is, there's a lot that men has to do. Because if we are thinking of a society which is for well-being for everyone, then men have to be part of the equation. They have to be part of the solution. They have to change. And I think there's no way we can throw them out of the equation and say, look, they're hopeless. The violence among men also come from overriding expectations of being a provider and protector. And if they are dispossessed, if there is an economic stress, then they seem to become far more violent. And if they have a spouse who's earning more than them, they are much more. So there is that. So you empower women and create much more hostility for them is not what we want.
Thank you.
So I just would leave it here.
Fantastic. No, I mean, I think he was very impactful at the end, so please give him a big round of applause.